Okay. So the content for today's discussion, I'm sharing how I started product management, my experience while learning and practicing the skill, then 7 things I wish I knew, and 3 tips that I feel like help aspiring product managers, new PMs, and even PMs that are undergoing their training. So first, yeah, how did I start product management? Well, I wouldn't say I transitioned into tech or into product management because um, I've actually been like in the tech space for like 4 5 years. I studied information technology in school. I just needed a tech skill that I could own up that okay, yes, I actually know these things. And with some of the courses and experiences in school, I knew that programming wasn't my thing because I was not enjoying it. But I came about product management in 2020 before COVID, right? My brother introduced me to it and even sent me the product book to read just so that I can, gain interest and all of that. But I was very nonchalant about learning. I was not interested and all of that. I just wanted to go to school, get good grades, and become a footballer because I thought I was, next Nigerian, Nigeria Azizat Shola or something like that. So I was not really interested in product management or anything that he had to, tell me about until 2022 when I was in 400 level. I started getting jealous, seeing my classmates that do program. They had like a mini groups among themselves where they just hang out, carry. I was looking at them and like, I like this, their lifestyle, very easy, coded, carrying laptop up and down, acting all serious. They were serious actually, and all of that. So I wanted to be part of it. Like, okay, I think it's time I just my life serious since this football thing is not looking promising anymore. Then I now thought that okay, what can I do? That had introduced me to management. So I went online, I made some research and all of that. So with what I saw about product management, I kind of liked it, especially because you can become a product manager without having like technical skills like that. So I spoke to my brother that okay, like I'm ready and all of that. Luckily for me, as at that time I was going to be on a 6 month break right from school. So I just knew that this is like the perfect time to just go for it, learn it, even if I did not plan to continue or um, pick it up as a professional thing. I just wanted to learn it and beat my chest that yes, me too, I can do something. I'm not just here like here. So I spoke to my brother and he said, okay, fine, no problem, go for it since you are ready now. Then I came about Innova Lab, right? But before I continue, let me just say I'm a product of Innova Lab, so I keep mentioning, you should know the reason why. So I made my research, I came about Innova Lab, then I registered, made all the necessary payments and all of that. Then I was in Quad 7, that was April 2022. Yeah, April 2022. So now that brings us to my experience while learning. Right. So learning at the Nova Lab was very interesting. Shout out to my cohorts mates, the Fantastic Four. They made work very easy and were able to connect among ourselves. Learning there was at first I was doubting myself, like, do I really want to do this? Or should I just back out at some point and all of that? Because it's just me and my system. There was no like classmates or course mates that can learn together and all of that. But I was very positive, and because I didn't want to waste my brother's money, right? Because he paid for it and all of that. So I went with open mind. I made sure I was consistent with my classes. I made sure I was following up, asking questions where necessary and all of that. Right? We had books to read. We had assignment after each class. At first, when they told us we're going to be reading books, I was like, "Shit, which type of problem is this?" Because I don't enjoy reading, especially long books and all of that. But I was just open to try the whole process out, right? Then I started enjoying it that even to this moment I still read product management books and keep learning and all every day. Right. So after the training we had capstone projects, I put in my all in it. Then we had internship, right, where we had to now put all the theory that we've learned for like 3 months. I took the advanced training, all the theory of 3 months, put it into actual practice now, where we had like designers, we had devs, we had people that we looked up to as mentors, right? And we're trying to build an MVP that could solve an actual problem. So all of that just really helped me to understand product management more and how to practice it and all of that. So let's dive right into today's conversation where I'm talking about 7 things I wish I knew before starting product management. I hope this doesn't scare anyone. All right, so for the first thing is human management, right? So I'm very sure that all the product managers on this call must have seen a diagram like this, maybe not exactly like this, but where you have product manager at the middle, you have UI UX, you have technical, or some people put it like development, and you have the business. So when I was looking, going online and searching about product management, I also saw this diagram, right? And all that came to my mind was, okay, this is design, this is development, devs, and this is just marketing, basically. But I never knew that teams were actually behind each of these departments. I just thought, okay, the product manager is one that will gather the design, the dev, and marketing strategy together to make the products a whole. I never knew that there are actually people behind each and all these things. So that's where team leadership, collaboration, and communication actually comes. You are not just managing different departments to, okay, it goes beyond the Figma board, it goes beyond GitHub, and it goes beyond marketing strategies. You have at least one person, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people that are under UI UX. You have 3, 4, 5 people that are under the technical side of the product, and you have 3, 4, 5 people as well under marketing, right? So as a product manager now, you are not just looking at their designs, looking at what they've developed and all of that. You are actually managing people. You are managing people that you don't even know about. Now you have to consider team leadership. As a product manager, you must be a leader as well. It's not just about the products now, but you are carrying about 8 people, or let me say 5, right? Depends on the amount of people that are on the team and all of that. So you have like 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on, people that you are actually leading. That whatever decision you make might affect their own work and all of that. You have to consider team collaboration as a product manager. Make sure that everybody is actually syncing, and there is, aside like personal issues, even as a product manager, there are times whereby your designer and your developer um they are not aligning or something. You still have to come in now, drop the product one side and talk to them on their personal issues or whatsoever that may be causing their um what's it called? I don't want to use the word fight, but whatever thing that they have among themselves. Then communication as well is very, very important as a product manager. I just like I usually tell the teams that I do supervise and all that, make sure you communicate. Product managers, make sure you communicate, because with some of the experiences I've had, right, working with teams and all of that, you tend to see that once the work gets to the developers, then you just realize that they don't even understand the product problem that they are trying to solve. And now it's the fault of the product manager because he or she did not communicate properly. You understand? You can't be talking to your technical guys and be using your product management teams. Even if eventually you are going to do so, you still have to consider the fact that, okay, they are not product managers. I need to be able to explain this PRD or explain the problem we're trying to solve or whatsoever to them to be sure that everybody actually understands. So in essence, what I'm saying is it goes beyond their Figma board, their GitHub, and their marketing strategies. As a product manager, you are going to be managing a lot of people, a lot of people. So make sure that you have your leadership spirit up, your collaboration spirit up, and your communication spirit up. Now let's look at other things I wish I knew. Right? You can't build products for everyone. Right? You cannot satisfy everyone, solve everyone's problem. That's impossible. As a product manager, you should be able to identify who and who is expected to use a product. Now, it's best that you focus on a niche before expanding. So this diagram here is just trying to illustrate like, oh, this is like the mass market, and this is like a very small niche or a very small market that you can as well focus on. So before I became a product manager and before I took the training and all of that, I saw every product like everybody can use it. I didn't see that part of some certain people can't use this product or this certain people can't use it or something like that. I felt every product is meant for everybody. All you need to just do is go to Play Store, Apple Store, and download it. Then you can access it. No, it is not done that way. As a product manager that wants to build a product, you need to be able to identify that these are the exact people I'm building for. This is the small segment of people, and it's best that you start at a very small scale before you now start expanding, and all of that. I think products like Uber, Bolt, and all of that, they didn't just go to 3-4 states at the moment that they launch, right? They started from one particular state, look at the reception in that particular state, then extend, move to other states and all of that, as well as even businesses, right? You don't just open 3-4 branches at the same time. You have to open in one specific place, see the reception of, okay, how are people taking this product, or how are people patronizing or something like that, before you now say, okay, I think it's time for us to expand and go further, right? Why is this not happening? Okay, just to be sure, can you guys still see me and hear me clearly?
Yes, I can still see you. I can still hear you.
Yes, we can still see you and hear you.
All right, thank you. So another thing I
Guys,
wish
you
I
can just
knew
use the chat
is,
box.
you said what?
You can just use the chat box just to
Oh, okay.
confirm,
Okay,
like
thank you.
for, for the listeners.
All right, thank you. So
Yeah.
another thing I wish I knew before getting into product management was understanding the difference between user needs and user wants. It sounds like the same thing, but it's actually a very huge difference between the needs of a user and the wants of a user. And as a product manager, it is very, very important that you focus on the needs and not the wants, because that way you're able to, your product or whatsoever idea or whatever you're trying to be in a better direction. You are not just generalizing it now, but you are a little bit focused on what do the users actually need. What do they need to be satisfied? What do they need to, solve their problem? Not just what they want. Their wants can change at any time, right? But their needs is more direct and more focused. So before you, start your project or start up a product or all of that, you need to be able to identify this is the difference between user needs and this is the difference between user wants. Now, I also wish I knew how to identify user pain points, right? I didn't even know there was something like that. Obviously, we all have pain points and frustration, but as regards product management, I never knew there was something like that. If I was asked to just carry out the research, I'll just do it. Okay, I want to be able to build a product that solves this problem. Fine, I'll just send out my questionnaires or do my user interview and all of that, and I'll get my solution. But as a product manager, you need to be able to identify users' pain points. It is very, very important. That way, you have a better direction on what you really want to do on the particular problem you are trying to solve. And also, you'll be able to coin out your research questions, right? To find their frustration, right? You not just send out questionnaires for the sake of sending or carry out the research for the sake of carrying it out. But when you are able to identify user needs, type of questions that you ask will be different. Now, there are different approaches to carry out user research. There's questionnaire, there's user interview, it's one-on-one and all of that. Now, let's take for instance, right? What's it called? User interview. Let's say over a phone call, right? As a product manager, let's say you want to ask 5 questions, right? From the response of that user, you can even identify more pain points that you did not know actually exist. It depends on how you are able to point out your question. Now, from their expression, when you ask a user that, oh, I want to know why you always follow this route. Let's say you are trying to do like a transport tech now. I want to ask why you always follow Ikeja axis, right? And the user is like, the reason why, from that now, you can always get another question. It just keeps leading, and at the end of the day, when you look at your results that you must have gotten from the person, you see that, oh, this is actually a problem that I'm not saying, but this is actually a problem the team is not saying. In essence, it is very, very important that you know how to identify user pain points to help your research and give your product more direction while you are building. Okay. Next. All right. Next is building oneself is very important. I got to learn this while practicing product management, right? So don't just focus on building the product, but also build yourself. What I'm trying to say is, I'm not saying you should keep reading books, or keep joining all the what's it called, all the products or project teams that you see. No, not that. But what I'm trying to say is, as a product manager, right? If you're on a project and let's say you had an issue of, let's say, communication, right? The moment you are on another team, you shouldn't have that issue again. You should learn from the previous one and use it to make the current one better. Don't just focus on building the best product. I know that's like one of the goals of product managers. Want to build the next big thing, or want to build the perfect product that all you have 1,000 downloads and all of that. But also build yourself while working on the product. Don't just focus so much on product, but make sure you build yourself. If you are a type of person that, oh, you don't like to interact, or don't like so much paparazzi and all of that, the moment you join the next team, or the moment you pick up another project or something, or if you do a tear down, right, and you get and you get criticized, right, that, oh, why not look at it this way? That, don't take it peace, right? It might seem like, oh, all the effort the person did not appreciate and all of that. He or she saw something that you did not see. So the moment you pick another product to do tear down on, you should be able to, whatever suggestion or I think whatever suggestion that he or she made previously to your tear down, should be able to implement it better on the other products you pick to do tear down. That way, you are building yourself as a product as well, not just the technical product and all of that. Next is time management. Now, personally, I'm not going to, I procrastinate, but I would never let that affect what I do. Now, as a product manager, it's very wrong for you to set a meeting for 6 p.m., right? And you are there by 6:10, or you are there by 6:05. That is, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, you are the one who even sets the meeting initially. People are waiting for you to get accepted, and you are strolling in. Now, one thing I've learned about product management, as a product manager, whatever vibe you start with, that's what the other teammates will carry along. So if you start very slow, every other person will be slow, and that way you cannot correct them. Even if you can, it seems somehow, because their excuse will be, you were the one who delayed us. Now, one of the teams that I do supervise, right? The product managers delayed for about 2 weeks. It's meant to be a project of 6 to 7 weeks, but the product managers delayed for 2 weeks, no valid reason. And now they expect the designers to now double their work rate or increase their work rate, which is, it doesn't make any sense. Now you are trying to put pressure on people that should have a normal 2 weeks to get their work done. But because you've delayed, you're now trying to cover up. That is very, very wrong as a product manager. You need to be able to balance your personal activities or personal life and balance work and all of that. Like I said, I do play football even to now for fun, but I don't make all of that things affect when I know that, okay, I need to submit this by so time. I need to have this meeting by this time. I need time management is very, very, very key as a product manager. You shouldn't be reluctant to attend your meetings. I mean, you are the one even organizing these meetings. It's possible that one or two things may come up, right? No doubt about that. But you also have to communicate with your team members. I'm not going to be available. Oh, let's reschedule. Oh, let's do this. Oh, let's do that. Or you just move it to maybe the designer should host the meeting or organize the meeting. And one thing that I have, that's become part and parcel of me is, while I was still undergoing my training, I made sure that I was always punctual to all my classes. I didn't miss any class at all. I was always there, like either the second person, obviously after the instructor, either the second person or the first person. But most times I was always like the first person. So now that has now become like part of me, that if I set a meeting, or even if someone else set a meeting, I'm always going to be there on time, except something comes up. And product manager as well. When you are building your products, right, you have like a roadmap. That's even like another thing entirely, where you know that you have to meet up with certain deadlines to make sure that the product is launched at the required time. The product is, in so phase at the required time. The product, as the product manager, you shouldn't be readjusting your roadmap because of your own flaws, right? That is very, very unacceptable right now. Other things that I wish I knew: solution perspective and problem perspective. I have never heard of something like this before, and I wish I knew before transitioning or coming into product management. Now, a lot of us tend to see things from the good side, which is acceptable, right? But as a product manager, you should be able to question a product. Like, you see, okay, let me say for instance, bank app, right? I can say, oh, my Access Bank, I can transfer. I like this product because I can transfer, I can buy airtime, I can book flights, I can pay GoTV, pay DSTV, do this, do that. But as a product manager, which every other person would see, but as a product manager, you should be able to question that, why can't I do this? Now, that's you seeing the product from problem perspective. And it is very, very advisable that if you want to build your product, or you are on a project or something, don't always see it from the solution perspective. That way, it will seem very perfect. Like, you would never see the flaws in it. Everything would look like, this is the next big thing. This is the next Facebook. This is I'm building the next Instagram. But when you start to see it from the problem perspective, you see it like the negative. That, okay, what if, or why is this not, or why can't, all those negative, or I don't say not negative like it's bad, but just from the problem perspective, right? You get to even know better and see other aspects that you've not even seen as a product manager. That's very, very important. Always see a product from a problem perspective and not solution perspective. Because even from the solution perspective, you just tend to lose focus at a certain point, right? You just tend to start making mistakes and all of that. Now, next is focus less on the product and more on the user. I said something earlier, like you start seeing your product as the next big thing. You see yourself. In fact, I would say that when building a product, right, as a new product manager or aspiring product manager, whichever one, maybe don't even look at the business side. Don't think about it. You would lose focus. It's something that has happened to me. It's something that has happened to some of the teams that I do supervise, because I'll just look at their group chat and they're talking about, we should be able to generate so money. We should be Calm down. Nobody is rushing you. Calm down. Focus more on your user. Their needs may change, right? Okay, for instance, let's even say, you and I personally, I all of a sudden just feel like I want to drink cold Pepsi, right? The next moment, I might just say, no, I think I prefer water instead. Or I can even get to where I want to buy the Pepsi, and I just, don't worry, bring water instead. All these things are bound to happen. Same thing happens under product management. And the moment you've taken your first user research, or you've done your documentation and all of that, and you just abandon your users and now focus on, you must build this product, it must be this, it must be this. You don't know if that particular user you are building, you don't know if they've relocated, you don't know if they've moved on, you don't know if they are no more interested. Okay, let's say you are trying to build a product for Gen Zs now, and then you are looking at marketing channels, you are looking at Instagram, you are looking at YouTube, you are looking at WhatsApp and all of that. And by the time you launch your product, there is a TikTok challenge that is just going very viral, right? A lot of Gen Z would actually push towards TikTok now, because you're so focused on your product and not the user and what gains their interest. That product is going to flop because it's not going to be properly marketed. Or at the end of the day, you just have to put one or two things together, something that you should have considered at the first stage, you're now considering it at stage 10, right? It's not going to make any sense. It's not going to balance at all, right? Now let's look at some extras. Okay. For new PMs, new and aspiring PMs, right? Get ready to get your hands dirty. Practice, challenge yourself, and even volunteer after your training. I'm not saying you shouldn't get jobs, right? It's very, I'm not against that at all. Some people get very lucky that even before the end of their training, they've reached out to people and a job is waiting for them. And some people don't get that luck, actually, that they have to wait for 2-3 months after their training before they finally get a job. Now, my advice is that as a new PM, this has actually worked for me. It's still working for me, right? Don't just finish your training and put your certificate somewhere, then start waiting for the job to come and meet you. Yes, you can apply, that's fine. But while you are waiting for a response, make sure you are doing something. Now, there are a lot of things you can do. You can volunteer to join a project, 6 weeks, 5 weeks, just 1 or 2 things. You've gained one experience for them. You can decide to challenge yourself. And this is something that I even enjoy doing, even to date, right? I'll just go to either Play Store or Apple Store and look for any products, just search randomly, or maybe any product that I must have heard over time. Either fintech, food tech, transport, any sector at all. Just go through their profile on any of the downloading platforms. Then I'm like, let me do a tear down on this thing. Do a tear down, understand the product, understand what problem are they solving, understand how their users, has accepted the products, and put yourself out there, right? After you must have done the tear down and all of that. You can even go as far as, creating a use case and do a PRD, make a prototype, do all those things that you must have practiced, your user research, segmentation, this, that, persona, do everything. All these things you are doing is going to help you, right? It's going to help you to actually, when you eventually get the job, right? You are not just like a newbie there. You already understand 1 or 2 things, right? So you're not just going to be on the job and you're not starting to be asking people that you did training with, how am I supposed to run this? How am I supposed to do this? Practice until you get that job that you actually want. And even after you get the job, you can still, if you have enough time and you enjoy what you are doing, you can continue with it. Next is to make product friends, connect with people, and don't isolate yourself. You cannot do it as a product manager. You cannot do it. Of recent, I wanted to I wouldn't call it a tear down, but I was working on something, right? Then I got stuck at some point. I needed a designer to help me prototype about 6 or 7 screens together. One of the teams I worked with, that was last year, I think last year, July. I'm still like in contact with that particular designer and all of that. Very good friend of mine. We talk and all. So I messaged him like, oh, I want to do something like this, something like this. I was like, fine, no problem. I should send him all the screenshots and necessary information, which I did. That night, he got it done for me. Then waking up the next morning, I saw a very huge mistake. I'm like, you cannot, or rather, I cannot post this. I need it to be this way. I messaged him again. Look at this. And he got it done for me that same morning. Same thing applies to developers. Make friends outside, like make your PM friends, make designer friends, make technical writer friends, make different marketers and all of that. Social media influencers, social media marketers, gather them together. At some point, you are going to need them. And the more you interact with them and all of that, if they see openings, randomly, I just get tags on Twitter. I'll just say that, oh, one of my friends has tagged me to a post. I'll do whatever that is required. And thank you so much. Easy. No stress with that at all. And other ways that you can make friends, let's say you are new to product management or you're just coming and then you don't know like touch points to get friends and all that. First, I would advise that join communities, right? Very important. And not just join and look at what you're doing. It's good to observe, yes, but don't be a lukewarm in the community rather. Engage once in a while. Anything that you see you can learn from it. Anything you know you can contribute. Let them even criticize that, oh, this thing you said, oh, it's not like this one. You learn from it, obviously. Now I suggest Twitter as a very tech friendly platform and all of that. So other ways you can get friends on Twitter, right? Search. A lot of people now, they had like what they do to their name. That has become like a very good trend. So go on Twitter, search product managers, see like list of people, go through their profile, look at some of their works, engage it. They will see that somebody that is an aspiring PM or somebody that is a new PM, depends on how you present your profile and all of that. They will see it and notice that, okay, this person, keep engaging their post, engaging their post, and send them a DM on the, oh, appreciate their work, right? Oh, I like what you're doing, this and that, this and that. From there, you just made a connect. Now, when you have issues, you can always reach out to the person. And next and final, as a product manager, get ready to talk. I saw a post one time on Twitter that says product managers eventually become talkatives. At first, when I saw it, I couldn't relate. But over time, I now knew that, oh, this is what that person was actually trying to say. You would talk and talk and talk and talk as a product manager. There are cases whereby I just had a 30-minute stand up, and the moment I'm getting off from my system or dropping my phone, I'm already seeing a 3-minute voice note from my designer asking me the same thing I just said on the call. It can be annoying and frustrating, but you cannot throw them away. It is your work to explain again, over and over and over and over. And this is something I just said like less than 4 or 5 minutes ago, where I asked that, do you guys understand? Yes. Is everybody clear? Yes. Are we on the same page? Yes. You are most likely the designer is even part of the person saying yes, yes, yes. But he or she will still send 3-4 minutes voice note to me that saying, oh, I don't understand. Oh, I'm like, I just said this thing now. But then it is your job as a product manager to explain, to communicate, to make sure everybody understands and everybody is aligned. Now, finally, I would just say to round up, let me see my time. Okay. To round up, I'll just say that all these things that I've listed here, I got to know them while I was training and while I was, practicing the product management, maybe from one task or another, right? And I wish I knew them because I had to learn them the hard way. All of these things, I had to learn them the hard way because I made a mistake. Then I now realized, oh, I should have done this. So for aspiring product managers or new PMs or even people that are, undergoing a training, right? If you actually hold on to these 7 things, or let me say these 10 things, right? It would help you to avoid a whole lot of mistakes that I've made in the past. And I believe, put them into practice, the one that needs, avoid the ones that needs to be avoided out of the 7 things. And it will actually ease your product management journey. Trust me, it will ease your product management journey. Thank you. Let me go back to the call. Hi, Blessing.
Thank you very, very much, Rosemary. I mean, you blew us away. Right. Thank you so much for this session, Rosemary. This is an eye opener. Even though some of these things, we casually say them, right? But getting to do them, you realize there is a lot more harder than like they say, doing is harder than speaking. You can easily say something, but getting to do that thing, you just realize that it's a huge thing to do. And that was why I was laughing when Rosemary was talking about, the talk parts. Product managers are talkative. Like product managers, oh my goodness. Product managers they can talk. And in fact, I know someone who is an introvert, and she was telling me that, see, if not because of the way things are, that she's tired. That every time she's always talking, repeating the same thing all over again. And to be honest, me, when the talk is already too much, sometimes it's unbearable. But then you just have to You just have to, like Rosemary said, you just have to always answer, because it is your duty to explain and explain and explain for everybody to get to know what they are going to be doing. But yes, thank you so much, Rosemary. I mean, this session has been insightful, and yeah, we appreciate you. We appreciate this expertise of yours, and these things that you have pointed out that were your mistakes. And for aspiring product managers and entry level product managers who are new to the space, I believe that they would see one or two things to pick from all of these slides. Right. Thank you so much, Rosemary. Guys, if you have a question, please do well to raise your hand so that we can Rosemary can answer your question. Who is we? I'm not going to answer anybody's question because I don't have answer. Rosemary would answer your question. Right. So if you have a question for Rosemary, please do well to raise your hand now before the session ends. Charlie. Okay. I think I'm seeing hands up.
Listen, let me say this right before we take questions. I think
you're breaking it.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes, slightly.
Okay, so let me. I don't know.
Is my network? Guys, give me. Can you hear me
I
clearly?
think it's your network because I can hear her clearly.
Lesson is from your end. So let me share this right before we take questions, since we have about 8 minutes. So one thing I can say product management has done for me, or one of like the biggest, I wouldn't say achievements, but product management has actually introduced me to a lot of things that I never thought I was going to be doing. For somebody that was focused on becoming a footballer to somebody that is now handling certain projects and all of that. So I remember one time, right, last year, the supervisor where I was, right, he told me to call 60 people. When I dropped off the call with him, it felt like my world was going to come to an end, because I hate to talk to people, especially people that I don't know, right? But he said call 60 people. I was even trying to negotiate with him, like let's do 20, let's do 50. He said no, it has to be 60. So all of these things, right? Don't shy away from them. It will introduce you to a lot of things that you feel like, oh God, why did I even pick this particular skill? Oh God, this thing's stressing me and all of that. Yes, it is going to stress you. I can tell you that for sure. But don't shy away from certain activities at any point. Just take it as, okay, I'm using this to build myself. I'm using this to get better. I'm using this to train myself to get more experience and all of that. Over to you, Blessing. She's still on the call. Check. Oh, I think she dropped
with my other device. I'm not sure why I don't know. I'm using my phone. All right, so we have another hand up. So Rosemary, you can just take the hands up.
Oh, okay. All right, let me check the orders, which it is here. That's if I'm going to say it here. Abimbola, can unmute yourself. Let's talk, since that's what we do.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening to you.
Good evening. Well done, Rosemary. I really enjoyed this. What you said. Please, my question is, I'm still going to take you back to when you said there is a huge difference between need and wants.
Okay.
I still don't really understand the huge difference. Please, can you shed more light to it? You can give an example too.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So, user needs, right, or let me say, there are certain things that need satisfaction. The needs don't change that easy, right? But user wants are bound to change at any time. Like I said, I want a good Pepsi. I can get to the shop where I want the Pepsi and just change my mind. But something that I need is like, it is lacking. I have to fill up that space before I can get satisfied. It doesn't change that easy. until, let me say, I've actually satisfied that particular need. I think that's like the major difference that I can, use to differentiate the needs and the wants. The needs don't change that easy until they get satisfied and the user can, oh, okay, yes, this is done, right? Now I need another thing. But for wants can change at any point. It can be a certain condition. Can you still hear me?
Yes,
So,
Rosemary, we can hear you.
oh, okay.
Yes, I
Okay,
can
okay.
hear
So
you.
it can be a certain condition that would change the needs of a user. So it's best that you focus on that will change the wants of the user. So it is best as a product manager that you focus on their needs and not their wants. I think that's like the best clarification I can give to that.
Right. Thank you very much, Rosemary.
Thank you very much.
Imola has a hand
Yeah.
up. Hi, Email. Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you for the session. It really helped me like put things in place because I'm an aspiring PM. I'm currently trained. Okay, I'm done with my training with Enova Lab, and like you said, to get experience, we have to like look for volunteer opportunities. I wanted to maybe have, because in my space I don't have anybody at all that is into tech. I just came up with studying training in product management. I saw it online and I felt like it was something I could do because I've been trying to transition into tech. So I don't have like tech people in my space. So I wanted to ask if maybe there's a way I can access these volunteer opportunities so I can get better experience before applying for product management roles.
Okay.
That's what I want to. Thank you.
So what I would suggest is, first you need to, like you said, you don't have anybody that is in the tech space in your, I don't know what you said, maybe your gathering or something like that. First, you need to look for tech friends, right? They don't necessarily have somebody that you talk to every day. And I'll suggest Twitter for that, right? Go on Twitter. There are some certain people, right? I don't want to call them tech influencers, but there are people that they are in product management. Even some they are not in product management, right? But they have the audience, the followers, and all of that. So follow them on Twitter, engage with